From the shadows of the Wasatch Front to the shores of the Great Salt Lake, you're listening to the Wynn to Scott Report, presented by UteFans.net, the original home for Ute fans.
Welcome to the Wynn to Scott Report, presented by UteFans.net. I'm Andy Brown, and I'm here with the usual suspects, former Utah quarterback Jordan Wynn and former Ute wide receiver Kenneth Scott. How are you gentlemen doing tonight?
Man, it's a great Sunday.
I mean, how else are we going to feel?
Great Sunday.
Shoot, man. If you ain't feeling good on this Sunday, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Man.
So before we review the Oregon game, I'd like to take a second to deliver an apology and explanation to Jordan, which my publicist helped me write. Jordan, you were right to be optimistic about the Oregon game, and I am very, very sorry for my negative attitude regarding said game. The attitude in question may or may not be related to certain games that have transpired in the past, some of which you may or may not have played in, which may or may not have scarred me for life. Regardless, I feel inclined to point out that your prediction for the BYU game this season left much to be desired. And if my calculations are correct, your predictions this season with me have come at a 50-50 split, so I don't feel confident trusting you at this point. However, I intend to continue our friendship, even though I'm reluctant to embrace an optimistic attitude at this point in time. So, moving on. What a game we had last night, 38-7 against the number 3 team in the nation in front of a record-breaking crowd at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Utah finally gets its revenge against a program that ruined our chances at a college football playoff appearance in 2019 and a Pac-12 South title in 2016. So let's see what you guys think. Initial impressions, Kenneth.
Man, speechless. Honestly, I don't feel like this game is an upset. I feel like we belonged in that game. I feel like we were not the underdog. I feel like we were destined to win that game. I just don't feel like it's an upset. So, the way we came out and played, I loved every single bit of it. And as soon as we got the ball, even though they deferred, but we still got the ball first, I was like, oh, yeah, it's game time. We were 5-0, getting the ball first. And then plus we got Covey on our side. Covey never lost to Oregon, so I just put all the eggs in that basket because he never lost to Oregon. So felt good that game. I'm glad we came out with the W. Great night for a lot of people.
And Jordan.
Thank you for your apology, by the way.
You're welcome.
Very well. I've been waiting for it, so I appreciate it.
I knew that, actually.
Someone's got to be positive about the game, but no, it was incredible. What an incredible environment to be in, to play in front of those fans like that. I think, from the opening, the flyover on, everything was incredible for the game. And, the Utes came out and took care of business. And, I don't want to get too ahead of anything, but, I was talking to some people during and after the game about, sports have a way to write drama and theatrics unlike almost anybody can. And so you look at what the program's gone through in the last year with the passing of Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe. And I feel like it's just a special year. It's one of those years that you can't write a story like this, and it's unfortunate what happened. Of course, it's horrible. It's so sad. That was the first time being in the stadium for the celebration in between the third and fourth, and I had to clear my throat a couple times and look away from my wife, but so she didn't see me getting choked up. But I mean, that's just the way sports, they have a way of writing these incredible stories. And I think Saturday night was evidence of it, of a way of, there were so many. It's Coach Witt's birthday today. He becomes the winningest Utah coach the day before his birthday. We finally get our revenge against Oregon and spoil their playoff hopes. I mean, it's like, you can't write this stuff. You can't make this stuff up. And so it's what an incredible year. Hopefully it continues, but man, I'm just such a proud alum. I love watching these guys play. I love the way that they play and the bond that they have. And it truly is just incredible to be a fan right now.
So this is Utah's third Pac-12 South title in 4 years.
It comes through Salt Lake, baby. The Pac-12 comes through Salt Lake. Don't forget it.
It's also Wynn 142 for Kyle, making him the winningest coach in program history. So let's jump into the offense, which was
real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick before we jump into that, fun fact, I was looking at the social media posts of like the times we won the Pac-12 South, and it showed 2015. And I looked at my ring, like from the bowl game, and it said Pac-12 South champions. And I never realized that we were the Pac-12 South champions in 2015 because we didn't go to the championship game. So I was confused, like, hold on, we won it in 2015? So because we just didn't represent it in a championship game. So that was news to me. I was like, oh, shoot, I didn't know. So shoot, I guess I'm part of it too.
Didn't we share it with someone? Wasn't that
with USC.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was like, yo, that's crazy. Didn't know.
So you're a Pac-12 South champ, bro.
We could have been my first year,
man.
but I ended it off right.
Man.
I ain't gonna talk about that.
Let's talk about offense.
So Tavion Thomas, 94 yards on 21 carries, broke the school record for rushing touchdowns in the season, scoring 3 last night. He converted every third down he was handed the ball on and scored 3 touchdowns in the red zone, with 2 of those touchdowns coming on critical third downs. TJ Pledger and Micah Bernard contributed 46 and 26 yards respectively. The offensive line, which seems to have greatly improved in a short period of time, did an incredible job against a stout Oregon defensive line. Utah rushed for 208 yards. Coming into this pivotal game, the Ducks were allowing only 120 rushing yards per game. And then Kayvon Thibodeau, the potential number 1 overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft, was a non-factor last evening. He had no sacks and no tackles for loss. Utah was 11 for 14 on third downs and had 0 turnovers. Cam Rising was a very effective game manager Saturday night, going 10 for 18 for 178 yards and had 3 passes of 20-plus yards, all to Brant Keithy, who had receptions of 21, 28, and 49 yards. And we won't soon forget that last reception, which saw him break multiple tackles. Rising did fumble the ball in the fourth quarter, trying to hand off the ball to Thomas, but we recovered the ball. Late in the second quarter, Utah scored 2 offensive touchdowns in less than 5 minutes of game time. A Rising touchdown made it a 14-0 game with 5 minutes left, and then the Utah squad took advantage of a missed field goal and drove 77 yards in 1 minute and 35 seconds. And then, of course, Britton Covey comes through and maybe the most memorable punt return in recent history to put the Utes up 28-0. So, Jordan, your thoughts on the offense last night?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they, job well done. They were 11 of 14, like you said, on third down. If you're converting at that rate, you're tough to beat. Incredible job running the football. And yeah, I mean, you have the potential number 1 pick on the other side of the ball and completely took him out of the game. He truly was a non-factor. I don't even remember hearing his name get called. So overall, an incredible performance. I think they ran the football super effective. They do a really good job. I know a lot of people talk about it, but of just handling the ball and going on these long clock drives. I was looking at some of the breakdown, the play-by-play from the game last night, and Oregon only got, I think, 3 possessions in the second half. Utah only got 3 possessions as well. But, I mean, the Utes had, I think, a 12-play drive that ate up almost 8 minutes that resulted in a field goal in the third going in the fourth maybe. But they just did an incredible job. Look, anytime you convert third downs at that rate and don't turn it over, you're going to be successful. I mean, that's kind of the recipe to win. And it's not just a Kyle Whittingham deal. I mean, you do that with anyone and you're probably going to come out of the game with a victory. So phenomenal job by them of honestly just punched them in the mouth. I mean, from the jump, they set the tone, the offense set the tone, ran the football well. And look, it's tough to come into Rice Eccles and win a football game, right? And I think, Oregon, wherever you had them ranked, whether it's 3 or you didn't think they were just whatever, they're a good football team. And for them to come in and just, I mean, we completely just shellacked them 38-7. It was so fun. And again, great job by the offense.
Kenneth.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with Jay Wynn. As far as the QB position, Rising, great job managing the game. Swag is off the roof as well. Running backs did a great job. Tavion did his thing, boiling over people. But I always, what's crazy to me is Mekhi Bernard. I feel like he's gonna get an opportunity playing the NFL, and I believe he's gonna have a long career because he adds so much value to the offense. Like, not only is he running the ball and he's being effective running the ball, but in the passing game, the little stuff he does too is tremendous. I'm like, dang, this dude is a beast. Like, and then Pleasure, he comes in, he does what he has to do as well. And then our tight ends, father him, even though he doesn't get a lot of passes and things of that nature, that stuff he does is blocking is tremendous. Dalton Kincaid, going to be a monster in the NFL. And we all know Keithy, the ultimate playmaker at tight end, did a tremendous job this week. I know he had that one drop and it pissed him off where he was just slamming. I thought he was going to break his hand because he was slamming the ground so hard. But he did a tremendous job catching the football. Our receiver play, Britton Covey, the opportunities he had, he made the most out of it. If I did have an area of opportunity where I felt like we could have done better, is get our outside receivers more involved, like Vele, Howard, because those are some guys with tremendous talent on the outside. I just wish we would get them involved a little bit more, especially I'm thinking of recruit standpoint, making it more appealing to them, especially in our passing identity. So offensive line did great too. Like Wynn said, hey, Thibodeau was a non-factor basically. So that was a great job for Bob Ludwig doing what he had to do to get them guys in the right places at the right spots and handling the game. So overall, great job, man. Great job.
So, Scott, it's time for the bat signal. What do we have going on tonight?
Well, you know what we got, man. We got the man, the myth, the legend himself. Right after Coach Witt retires, Covey is going to be the next head coach. Maybe not now. He looks like he could be age-wise. He's 40 years old. He's out there. He's doing the job. It was a 3rd and 5 play. He's lined up on the right side against a nickel back. Britton Covey in his mind is like, this dude cannot touch me. He can't touch me. Britton Covey rises up on him, give him a little wiggle at the top. Catch that thing, and he's rolling 17 yards. That's my bat play. Mr. Covey himself, he's just so great in the tight spaces and creating separation, man. You just got to love what he does, man. Mr. Covey gets the bat signal this week.
Right on.
I love it.
So the Utes defense, let's talk Utes defense. They really showed up in a big way against a very, let's be honest, a very talented Oregon team. So coming into the contest, Oregon had one of the best rushing attacks in the Pac-12, averaging 227 yards per game. Utah shut them down. The Ducks accrued just 63 yards rushing last night. The Utes held Travis Dye to 29 yards when he was averaging almost 91 a game.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. Utah also shut down Oregon quarterback Anthony Brown when he tried to run, which was key to winning, holding him to 8 yards on 9 attempts and forcing him to throw the ball. Prior to this game, the Ducks' lowest scoring output was 24 points. Utah held them to 7 points. Cole Bishop is going to be a star at Utah, recording 7 tackles. He's a freshman, by the way, recording 7 tackles.
He's going to be a beast.
Including a tackle for loss, 2 pass breakups, and a blocked field goal. Devin Lloyd had 6 tackles, a tackle for loss, and a huge hit on Travis Dye on 3rd down. Junior Tafuna had 1.5 sacks, and Mika Tafua had 1. Brown was pressured by the Utes defensive line, which sacked him 3 times and forced a lot of hurry-ups. It was apparent that Brown was not comfortable on the Utes field Saturday night, and there were a couple of times he hit the ground and it took him a while to get back up. So thoughts on the defense against the Ducks? Scott.
Yeah, man. It's crazy that you mentioned Brown, the quarterback. His receivers was getting frustrated at him. You see, like, as far as the incompletions he was having, and it was just getting frustrated. Like, hey, lift the ball up, man. Get it to me. And as far as the defense, man, Bishop running around everywhere, being a crazy, just hair on fire. Devin Lloyd popping people in the backfield on critical downs. The only mishap that I seen from our defense was that touchdown. Really, we were in cover 3. Oregon lined up in trips. They had the inside receiver run a flat route, the second inside receiver run a corner, and then the outside receiver run just a goal route to clear it. And you can see Clark Phillips gets his eyes on the quarterback, and he's thinking about jumping that corner because he's thinking the quarterback was going to throw the corner out. when he threw the deep ball. So that's the only mishaps that we've seen on my end. But, great job by the defense, man. We did our thing.
Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a good job to shut Oregon out in the first half. Is incredible. I think Travis Dye is an incredible running back, and to hold him to 29 yards is fantastic. I mean, they really made – you look at going in at half, and they're up 28-0. You make them one-dimensional really quick, which isn't something that they want to be, right? They want to be able to run the football and be able to run the RPO game with Brown and kind of move him around. And I agree. I don't think he looked comfortable all night. I think – watching that game and then even going back and watching when they lost to Stanford, the kind of recipe to beat them is to make them throw. Nothing against Brown. I think he's a good quarterback. But again, that like there's a reason why the guy left Boston College, right? Like that's where he started, I believe, and he left to go over here. So there's a reason why guys leave. And so I thought they did a good job. They got to him a lot, frustrated him a lot. And again, really made them one-dimensional. For a defense to not get a turnover, but to hold a team to 7 is pretty incredible. So again, hats off to the defense. That stop on 3rd and short that Devin Lloyd had, where he just popped Dye in the backfield. That's like that'll be on his tape when he gets drafted. Like that was a highlight type. You'll get Mel Kiper up there going,
yes,
look at this play from Devin Lloyd.
Look at this guy. Look at him. The Utah Ute.
He takes he has like the 2 shuffle steps to the side, and then he makes up his mind to fill the hole. And I mean, he cracked Dye in the backfield. That was a big hit and a big play. So great job by the U defense last night.
So finally, special teams. How about these guys against the number 3 team in the country? They were perfect. So remember, Bishop blocked Camden Lewis's 36-yard field goal attempt in the first quarter. It's clear too that the Utes special teams was in the Oregon kicker's head as he missed a 41-yard field goal later in the game. Entering the game, he was 10 for 10 on field goals, just for the record. Now, after stopping the Ducks with 11 seconds left in the first half, Coach Witt called a timeout to get the ball back, which ended up being a brilliant move as Covey returned it 78 yards for a touchdown. And then Utah kicker Jaden Redding made a 26-yard field goal and was perfect on extra points. So, special teams. What do we got to say about them? K. Scott.
Hey, I mean, the team was special. That's what we got to say about it. I mean, with that, when Cole Bishop came and blocked that field goal, I was like, holy moly, where did he come from? So that was a great play by him. And not only that, but the punt return. I love Covey's swag before the punt return. I knew something was going to happen. I thought he was going to get a big return because like the swag he had before the play, like you see the cameras on, he was like doing this to the crowd. I'm like, oh, something about to happen. Like it's going to be a trick play, something. And wound up being him scoring a touchdown. So that was freaking fantastic on his play. But overall, we did our job on special teams. We basically killed every phase of the game. So that was a good outcome.
Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, just like K. Scott said, all 3 phases phenomenal, right? Special teams, it was nice to have that be a bright spot after the recent weeks, to block a kick, have them miss a field goal. That was in my mind, pretty poor clock management by Cristobal there right before the half. I think you're on your own 25 with not much time. I think like 35 seconds maybe, and you throw it twice incomplete. And then he tries to run it, and good job by Coach Witt taking a timeout. But I'll tell you what, man, you can't write this stuff. Where'd Covey catch that ball? 22-yard line. Like you can't make this stuff up. Like
it's crazy.
This is the stuff that's like you get chills thinking about it. It's like, how does that happen? This is only written in sports.
It's crazy.
What's crazy is like I think they went for a block, to be honest, because if you see when Covey catches it, there's 4 Duck guys that were unblocked coming at him. And from where we were at in the south end zone, when he caught it and they were setting up, they went for the block, right? And then everybody kind of fans out to set up the wall. From our view, I looked at Britt and I'm like, if Covey can get around this one guy, this is gone, because the wall was set. And sure enough, he got around the one guy and there was no one left. I mean, the wall was perfect, and they did a great job, because those are tough blocks when you're coming downfield, especially. And there was a couple guys that kind of turned their back and put their hands out instead of just teeing off on the guy and maybe getting a block in the back. That's phenomenal coaching, and just heads up play by those guys. So Man, great job, special teams. Way to be a bright spot after recent weeks. Way to bounce back and really show out on a national stage.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We should do a shout out to the Utah fans in attendance. Record crowd. The press box was shaking. ESPN's cameras were shaking. The fans got there early. They were all in their seats. Like, what do you guys think about that? Because that's worth mentioning.
It's funny. I heard it was a good joke or a good tweet. The guy said, I have my TV on mute and I could still hear the crowd. I was like, oh, that was a good one. Yeah. I was like, dang, I should have stole that post. But that was a good post right there. So, yeah.
Jordan, do you have any thoughts?
It was loud in there. I think third down, it was loud. I think the Ducks, had to take 1 or 2 timeouts on third downs because they couldn't communicate what was going on. The Covey return touchdown, that place, like, I don't know if I've ever heard it that loud. That was loud. And I've gone back and watched the clip. The camera's you can't even, it's not even focusing because it's shaking so much. So, man, great job by the fans. I think, all week the thought kind of was, hey, if we can't take care of business against these guys here with the crowd on our side, then it'll be tough in 2 weeks in Vegas with a neutral site. So they showed out and they it's tough to win here for a reason. It's because the fans. So phenomenal job by everybody that was in that stadium. It was rocking. It was an incredible environment for that game to be on ABC. Huge recruiting weekend. I mean, how could you not want to come play for Utah after watching that and being in that environment? So phenomenal job by everybody there last night.
So now, Jordan, the moment everyone's been waiting for.
Winning moment!
Oh, man.
Yeah, baby.
Man, that moment, that winning moment. It's crazy to say the winning moment occurred before the half against the number 3 ranked team in the country, but I mean, hands down, without a doubt, it was the Covey punt return. I think the setup of that whole situation, we're up 21-0. I think Oregon's kind of getting a little frustrated, maybe feeling a little stressed. Cristobal decides to try and throw it twice, which proved to be a mistake. But even sitting there, it was kind of like, what's he doing? You need a pretty big chunk play to get even kind of in field position where something could happen that fast. And then he realized, oh, maybe I'm making a mistake, and tried to run it on third down, and Kyle takes a timeout. And like K. Scott said earlier in the show, you could feel something was going to happen. Covey was back there rubbing his hands, getting excited. And there was just an energy there. And then again, he catches the ball on the 22-yard line. It's like, it's just crazy. And
you can't make this up.
You can't. How many times am I going to say it tonight? You cannot make this up. And phenomenal job by those guys that created the wall. Phenomenal job by Covey to he caught it and literally ran right down the line. Perpendicular, like almost retreated a little bit to get around that one Duck coverage guy. And once he got around that guy, it was off to the races. He broke the one tackle at, I think, like the 20 or 30-yard line. The guy tried to get his legs, got through that. And you go into half with a play like that. You go into that Duck locker room after a play like that, you're in an uphill battle now. And I think everybody kind of knew then this anything can happen, but that was a dagger in the coffin for that game to be up 21-0. And that's mercy rule in Madden. And then you give up a punt return for a touchdown, and man, that's the winning moment this week, hands down.
Awesome. And we got to preview the Colorado game, which is next Friday, I believe. And
man, thank God we don't got to win this one to win the Pac-12.
Yeah, no kidding.
I was nervous.
Man.
But I think it's worth talking about the Colorado game and then some other upcoming scenarios for this Ute squad. Because I hate to say we're looking past Colorado, but we're looking at the Pac-12 championship game too. So let's touch on all that stuff really quickly. Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting situation with playing a team who doesn't really have a whole lot to play for, and we already clinched our future. So a little bit of a weird dynamic, right? In regards to do you play everyone the whole game and risk losing anyone? Do you not and risk losing the game That's why Kyle makes millions, because he's gonna sit all night, all week, and figure that out. But again, you know, I'm ecstatic that we clinched last week, and it didn't come down to this. You know, it's this game to me kind of feels like something kind of similar to the Arizona game, right? Colorado doesn't have a whole lot to play for. I don't think they can get to a bowl game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but so you're gonna get a very much wounded animal, in that they're gonna throw everything, every trick play they can install this week or had installed in camp. You're probably gonna see. I would imagine they come after us with pressures when they're on defense, because they have nothing to lose. So it'll be interesting to see how we look. Hopefully we can get up early and kind of put them away and get some guys some meaningful snaps. I think the real question, which again I'm glad we're clinched, is who are we going to play in Vegas? The scenario up there is kind of crazy. I think it's, you know, Oregon controls their destiny, right? If they win Saturday, they're in. If they lose, though, I believe if Washington State wins, Washington State sneaks in. If Washington State loses and Oregon State beats Oregon, then Oregon State's in, and it's a rematch with them. So a lot of weird scenarios up there. Man, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'm excited. Hopefully we come out hot Friday against Colorado, and kind of put all the noise aside, and you know, can save a couple guys and come out with a win, because you don't want to go into the championship game after a loss. You want to go into it with the momentum riding high and feeling good. And again, come out and show up, right? We saw it 2 weeks ago against Arizona. Like, you can't just sleepwalk through this one. You do need to come out and play well. But the way these guys are trending, and the way that they're able to stay locked in with everything that's gone on this year, like, you might be negative again this week. I don't know, Andy. I'm very positive about this week again.
About Colorado?
Yeah. What do you think? Here we go. Here comes the negativity. I can feel it.
It's too much pressure for me right now, man. You're making me anxious.
Coming through the laptop. He goes, don't ask me about this game.
And we should, in theory, we should win. We should beat Colorado. I mean, the thing is that we don't have to win, but like you said, we want the momentum. Yeah. You know, it's important we win the game.
Yep.
You know, but I'm not betting on it. So. Hey, Scott, what do you think? What are your predictions coming up? Colorado championship game, all that stuff.
Man, Colorado, we're gonna win. I'm just gonna say we're gonna win. We're at home. We're gonna win. It's Thanksgiving. I hope it don't come down to a 2011, but it's not. I'm already putting my mind to it. We're gonna get the W. I'm looking at the statistics, quarterback wise, receiver wise. Even though they got Jerry Rice's son. They're gonna actually need Jerry Rice out there. But I think we're gonna win. As far as the bowl game, it's gonna be interesting because Colorado did beat Oregon State, which is super weird. I don't know how. It was in overtime. I don't know how they beat them, but that is weird to me. But I low-key I want Oregon State to go back to the championship. I want Oregon State to go to the championship.
I do too.
So that we can rematch and beat them.
It's a revenge. There's a lot for us to, you know, the thing you worry about is like, oh, we rolled Oregon 38-7 and they come out with the chip on their shoulder. If Oregon State gets in this game, it's like, hey, we get revenge on them. We come out motivated. I'm with you, K. Scott. I want Oregon State in there.
Yep, let's get it.
Yeah.
So since Coach Whittingham now holds the record for most wins in the football program, I thought we'd take a second to hear from both Jordan and Kenneth about the significance of this, as well as any other thoughts they had. We'll start with K. Scott.
You know, man, Coach Witt is the GOAT. I've known that since day uno. I was like, man, this dude is the guy. Interesting story. Growing up, like through junior All-American ball, high school ball, like going to college was my first time ever having anyone outside an African-American coach me. It's always been, so that when I was getting recruited by Utah, I was nervous about that. But, you know, Coach Witt just makes you comfortable. And it was kind of like the post I posted, he turns boys into men, like once they come through the program. And that's what he did. He gave us that discipline, gave us that fatherly feeling that he has. And dude's remarkable, man. I still talk to him through text nowadays. He's freaking hilarious. But I'm just so happy to be, he's a part of our lives still, no matter how far removed you are from the game. He still remembers like specific details and stuff. I'm like, how do you remember that? But he's a great guy, great leader. And I definitely wish he writes a book later on in life whenever he gets done, because like the lessons that he teaches us through sport, like I think it would be a bestseller if he puts it in a book, because I utilize those type of lessons in my day-to-day, corporate life type stuff. So definitely love Coach Witt. Great guy. That's all I can say, man. He needs a statue. Yeah,
agreed. And Jay Wynn, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, build that man a statue. Get that thing up. Congrats to Coach Witt. Me personally, he took a chance. I was 150 pounds, 160 pounds. People were calling for me to get the hook through 4 shoulder surgeries, and he hung in there with me. And that's something I'll always appreciate. And it starts from the top down, no matter what, whether it's business, football, any sport. And you look at the way the program's built. Obviously Urban did a great job when he was here and got them in the Fiesta Bowl. But you look at the way Coach Witt's built the identity. Everybody in the country knows what they're going to get when they play Utah, and that's a direct representation of Coach Witt. He's a pack your lunch, put on your hard hat kind of guy, and that's how he runs the program. And he creates a culture where you want to run through a wall for the guy. He does a phenomenal job. He's a phenomenal tactician. I think that kind of goes unnoticed a lot. I think he's an incredibly bright football mind, especially defensively. He's very hands-on with special teams. That's a direct reflection of him. And he's created a formula to win. He's created a culture to win. And in this day and age in football, that's really hard. Outside of Nick Saban, really, I don't know if there's a guy who's created a culture that's continually won. You look at what Dabo Swinney's going through this year at Clemson, and people are upset. Mm-hmm. You look at what just happened to Dan Mullen today. He got let go. So you look around at the landscape of college football, and were there some bumps that Coach Witt had to take and the program had to take? You bet. It hasn't always been perfect, but the way he's built this program and got guys to buy in, it really is incredible. And it starts with him, and he would be the first to say it's, there was a saying when we would play that each individual needs the program more than the program needs the individual. And he was the first to say, Coach Witt, I need the program more than the program needs me. And I remember hearing the head guy say that and go, wow, this is an incredible place for the head guy to say, I need you guys more than you guys need me. And it shows the way guys play. They play hard. They fight hard for him. And congratulations to him. The statue needs to get put up. And like Case Scott said, when that dude writes a book with all his sayings and all his, little details and how he goes about things and what he says, that would be a bestseller 100%.
Awesome. Yeah. Did you guys see that video that his daughter's narrated?
It's awesome. Great.
Yeah. I almost cried, man.
Man,
I said, damn.
Yeah. He's one for the ages for sure. Guys like him don't come around very often. So no. Awesome comments, guys. It's really cool hearing from people who played for him. So that brings us basically to the end of our show. One quick item: if you have any winter coats you are interested in donating to youthfans.net as part of our clothing drive for the holidays, contact us on Twitter. Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of the Wynn to Scott Report on youthfans.net. We look forward to hearing your questions on Twitter, and we will see you next week after the Colorado game. Go Utes.
I'm smelling roses. Woo!
Thanks for listening to the Wynn to Scott Report, presented by YouthFans.net. Join us next time for more exclusive insider analysis from 2 of your favorite former players. We are the original home for Ute fans.